Shish Boje. Good evening, Lublin. This is Micheal Maloney, and I'm a seminarian. You may remember me. I was at the parish of St. Joseph for a couple weeks last summer. I'm an American seminarian, and I'm now back in Rome at the American seminary there. This right behind me is St. Peter's Basilica, and I'm just right up on the seminary overlooking the city. So, Father Damien asked me to make a short video just explaining how I got to seminary, how the Lord's brought me here, and how I've seen the Lord working in my life. So, when I was younger, my family was part of a very strong Catholic parish in St. Anthony, Minnesota, which is a suburb of the Twin Cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul. So we're up in north central US, and the parish was called St. Charles Borromeo. And when I grew up, even from a young age, my parents really drilled home and helped us to understand how to bring everything to the Lord. I remember even in middle school having some problems and my parents suggesting that I take it to prayer. And so even from middle school and before, Eucharistic adoration was an important part of my life. There was a Eucharistic adoration chapel that was always open at our parish, and I remember 8th grade for Lent visiting it for about 10 minutes before school every day. Also, one of the bonuses of being part of a very strong parish, one of the good side effects was that I had very many strong Catholic friends, and these friends were very influential in helping me grow in my faith. These friends were not just friends that I saw at church, but also friends that I went to school with, that I hung out with, played sports with, and worked with. And so having that constant Catholic presence in my life really helped me develop a strong relationship not only with other people in the church, but also with the Lord. So from a young age, the Catholic community was very strong in my parish, and this definitely carried into high school. In high school, I continued to grow closer to the Lord, especially through the parish youth group. The friends I had from middle school were also part of that. I had more friends who joined from other parishes in the area, and we continued to be very strong friends. Also, I had many opportunities to do various youth conferences, to participate in them, and at every one of these, the highlight was always Eucharistic adoration and simply praying with a bunch of other people before the Blessed Sacrament. Praying before the Blessed Sacrament really helped build that relationship with the Lord, which really helped me. Also, throughout this time, it was always emphasized that anytime, once again, that you had a problem, anytime that you fell away from the Lord, you turned away, sinned in various ways, there's always an emphasis on going back to the sacraments, the sacrament of confession and the sacrament of the Eucharist, and to always turn back to the Lord and accept His mercy. This was really helpful throughout high school and really kept me close to the Lord, and I was extremely blessed to have these communities and these people in my life who pointed me towards the Lord. There were many strong priests at my parish. We had frequently parochial vicars who had just been ordained and were very enthusiastic about the faith, and I'm still good friends with many of them today. They were a very big influence and were always very willing to reach out, especially with the youth in high school, and work with them and bring them closer to the Lord. So, near the end of high school, I was faced with the decision of what to do after high school. One option was to go along the route of physics. I loved math, I loved physics, even from kindergarten. Many people assumed that I would do math or physics after high school and when I got older. But also with that, even from a young age, was the possibility of priesthood. I have an uncle who's a priest in another diocese, and like I said, I knew the priest at St. Charles Parish very well. And so I know especially junior year I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do after high school. Because part of me really loved physics, part of me loved the problem, like solving physics problems, doing physics, just studying it and learning how the world works. And even today, I absolutely love those kinds of classes and reading books about physics. It's one of my favorite things to do. But also, I knew that Lord also could be calling me to priesthood, and I wasn't sure. So another man from the parish, a young man, was also in seminary, and he invited me to visit the seminary. And so I did junior year. And during this visit, it was only a couple days, but I knew by the end of it that that's where I was going to end up being. Now, I didn't necessarily tell anyone that, and I didn't even really tell myself that, but I definitely knew that that's where I was going to be. There was a sense of peace there. I loved doing physics, and I loved spending time at a university where I studied physics in high school. But there was something different when I was at the seminary. There's a sense of peace. There's a sense of belonging there and longing to be there when I was in high school. And so I knew at that point, even if I didn't totally admit it, that after high school, that's where I was going to end up. That after high school, that's where I belonged, and that's where I was going to go to experience this peace. And so that's how the Lord really told me throughout high school that that's where He wanted me to go afterwards. So I went on a couple more seminary visits my senior year of high school and experienced the same thing, that constant sense of peace there. And it was this sense of peace that really, that's how the Lord spoke. That's how He was saying yes to my question of should I go to seminary or not. That peace was a very strong yes. And even though maybe in prayer I didn't hear anything, or He didn't try and speak to me during prayer or get any visions, that peace was definitely the Lord speaking to me and telling me that's where He wanted to go. So I entered seminary at St. John Vianney College Seminary in St. Paul, Minnesota. And I spent 4 years there. And through all of it, I just had peace with the idea of moving on in seminary. Every year, there was a peace that, yes, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where the Lord is calling me. And this is where He wants me to continue to go. My junior year, I got a chance to spend 1 semester in Rome. So I was over here for 3 months. And that's when I met Father Damien. I was also studying at the Irish college where he was living when he was studying here in Rome. And through that connection, we went on a couple runs together. And we stayed in touch, and now I'm studying theology in Rome, and I'm in my 2nd year. I finished my 1st year last year, and since I was going to be in Europe, I asked Father Damien if I could spend a couple weeks at your parish, and he agreed to that, and so that's how I wound up at the parish of St. Joseph last summer for a few weeks. So I'm now back in Rome. I have 3 more years of study until, God willing, I am ordained a priest. I really enjoy studying here and living here in the heart of the church, learning about the Lord. I'm definitely at peace here. Thank you for having me last summer, and I hope to visit at some time. God bless.